Right, welcome. We're live on YouTube. So yes, first Monday of August. Wow, what an interesting year. And yes, the sharp amongst you will notice. Welcome. We're live on YouTube. Hang on, that's YouTube feeding back. First Monday of August. Wow. So yeah, sharp amongst you will notice it's 4 o'clock. And it says 5 o'clock on the starting point, right? So from next month onwards, we're going to do it at 5 o'clock. Although I got a little bit, I had a little bit of a debate with GMT and summertime, all of this good stuff. So anyway, so fixed it from next month. It'll be 5 p.m. UK time every first Tuesday of the month. Welcome. Really great to see everybody back. Hopefully you're having a good holiday. And I'm not going to take up too much time. So I thought we'd have a quick run through. Introduction. My name's Dil. I'm the Chief Surveyor at 1996 Party Wall, specialist party wall surveying company. All we do is party wall stuff. And I do this program once a month now. It's question time with Dil, the party wall guy. We talk about party wall stuff. It's being broadcast live on YouTube channel. We're probably going to stop the Zoom and just do live YouTube. Quite like YouTube, actually, my favorite platform. Anyway, moving on. Right. So this is all about Q&A. So you get we answer all the questions with our answers from the audience. So questions from the audience. Okay, let's get on with it. How do I start the party wall process? That's an interesting question. And one we get quite commonly asked. So we've created a free DIY notices template. This is going through an update, and hopefully by the time you come around to watching this program on YouTube, we'll have the links on how to get the updated version in the description. So go to the description, it's automated. We're setting up an automated process. You basically stick your email in, bang, you'll get party wall notices. You know, we're getting with it. I'm quite proud of that little setup when it works. Okay, now you'll see this common booklet. If you Google it, you'll get this booklet. Great booklet. Read it for the information and how the Act works. But the notices are cumbersome and hard to use. Mind you, it was written in, I think it was 2002, so it's about 20 years old. They haven't updated it. They just changed the color of the cover and the logo. So, you know, the government's busy, so we thought we'd create our own, and here's what you can get all of this. The notices are a lot more simpler. They're ready to go. Fill in the blanks. We've designed them specially. We also have a process list. I'm going to go through the updates when we finish doing them. We might finish them by the next program, but watch this space, as they say. Okay, so just a little warning. And this has been a year of Zooms, and what I found is our template has a process through it, and there's reasons for it. The government template is a little bit, there's issues with it, and it doesn't cater for all the stuff. So I'm going to go through the areas our PDF caters for. So and the ones it doesn't. So if you're a joining owner, if you've got a house or a property, that's you, and you've got a house next door, it's a house owner, and across the boundary within 3 meters there's a house. Yes, the notice template will work. Okay. If you've got a house next to neighbor's a house, and you've got more than 3 meters between the boundaries, so semi-detached with each of their own drives, yeah, it'll still work, right? If you've got a house that's been converted into flats and you own one of the flats, and you're doing something that's notifiable, it may or may not work depending on what's next door to you. So that's important, yeah. The amount of notices, who you issue the notices, it gets quite complicated. It works if the next door neighbor is a house on that side and you're notifying another house within 3 meters. So in that scenario, it works. You don't need to notify the upstairs flat owner or the downstairs if you're the upstairs flat owner, but you will need to get freeholder's consent. Another complicated subject. So you have to take a view on that, yeah. And the scenario it won't work is if you're doing works on the side that you've got a house, that will work. Where on the other side, you've got a property that's either been converted into flats or a block of flats right next to you and they're notifiable. This is tricky. You need to get into, you need to get someone to serve notices. So don't do it yourself. You're going to cause yourself more problems and they're harder to fix later on. Okay. So how do I start the party wall process? That's how you start it. You issue these notices. Let me rewind back. So these are our notice templates. Just issue those and bingo, away you go. And remember, they don't work on all the occasions. It's just literally too complex. And this is a lesson. We've tried explaining it for all the scenarios. It won't work. And you're going to get yourself into bigger problems. This is a scenario, it does not work. So don't do it for that, right? Okay. Next question we get asked. I'm going to keep an eye on the time because I don't want to take up too much of your time. Can I start works after I serve the party wall notices? No. Okay. And I'm going to go through the basic terms and why. Okay. So you as a building owner, and these are the best, there's a building owner, on adjoining owners, you can have freeholders, you can have leaseholders of more than 1 year. You can have people who have rights to receive profits out of that property. You also have people who are under contract to buy land. And this gets complex in a fast-moving housing market. Ones you don't need to worry about are short-hold tenants, AST tenants, council tenants, and mortgage companies. Now, as I was referring to previously, if you've got any of these other 3 categories below, and some of them you can't discover until you've done the notice and it goes through a process. We just had one that goes astray in that. So that's the only one the notices work for. And if it gets any more complex, don't do it yourself. Let me talk you through the process. And it's a 2-stage process. This is very important to understand. It's based on a lot of other laws and so on where they have a 2-stage process as well. So this isn't the only one, but it's probably the first time you've come across a 2-stage process as consumers. Yeah. So basically, the building owner issues a notice. Yeah, that's start the process. They have to serve it in writing, and that's just to start the process. This is not a party wall agreement. Please. You need to be aware of that terminology because when you're communicating with other people, I'm not telling you off. I'm just saying need to clarify your understanding. Yeah. Stage 2 is decided by the adjoining owners. Now, they can choose the following options. They can ask for a schedule of condition. That's largely a photographic survey of their property. It's very much like renting a car, so that if there's any allegation of damage, we've got a baseline to start from, yeah. And most importantly, well, that protects the building owner. So if you're doing the works, it's there to protect you, not only your adjoining owner. So it's a good way of resolving disputes. Okay, an award is a party wall agreement. So when people think of an award, you call it a party wall agreement. That's what it actually is. It's a legal agreement. An award is a legal document which sets out rights and responsibilities. And within there will be procedures if there's a claim. We'll talk about it. So the answer to that question, can I start works after I serve the notice? Unfortunately, it's not no. And this was one of the big changes of legislation between the 1939 London Act and the 1996 Party Wall Act. London Building Act was its predecessor. So just remember that, okay? Moving on swiftly. Third question, if my neighbor does not respond, can I start the works? This is another common question we get, and this is really important. And unfortunately, the answer is going to be no, and I'm going to go through why. Okay. So the process for each adjoining owner. So imagine you've got two adjoining owners. You can have multiple. We've done projects with 5, 7. I've even heard of, what are we involved in? I think the biggest one to date we're involved with is, it's double digits, so you can get quite a lot of adjoining owners. Obviously more complex works than a rear extension or a loft. Okay, so for each adjoining owner, this is the process. So remember, they can consent, do a schedule of condition, and you're ready to go for that particular adjoining owner. So that's off your list. Second option is they can dissent. This is a formal wording, and people use dispute as well. So that's formal wording. Don't be scared. It doesn't mean you're going to have an argument with your neighbour or a fight. We hope not, anyway. And there's 2 ways of dealing with that. You can either have an agreed surveyor or have your own surveyor. Yeah. And they will try and carry out a schedule of condition. We're not always successful, especially in these interesting times, and do a party wall award. But the output for residential purposes is very similar. You produce an award, probably have a schedule of condition, and you already start works. Job done, right? Now, what happens if your neighbor does not reply? This was the original question. Yeah? You've got to go through. This is another piece. This was one of the aspects that changed. You've got to go through something called the 10-4 process. I'm going to go through it now. Basically, once you send them a notice and there's no response, although it says 14 days to respond, it's actually 14 plus 2, could be a little bit more depending on where the weekend falls and what bank holidays you have. So if they don't respond, you have to send them a 10-4 letter. Yeah, it's called a reminder letter. And it'll say you have 10 days to respond. However, you have to give them 12 days. And the new revised notices we're going to put a sample text of it in there so that you could do this bit as well. We're just conscious that we want you to be able to do as much as you can and make it a really good pack for you. So you have to appoint a surveyor on their behalf. This is interesting. So each party is represented. This surveyor will request a schedule of condition from the adjoining owners, so your neighbours. And if they get one or not, the works must proceed. Do an award. If they don't grant access, say, we're not letting you in. We've got, you know what's going on nowadays. We've got that dreaded problem. We're isolating. We can't let you in. No matter, you can write up an award and put it in the award and carry on. Yeah. So things have to continue. This act is supposed to be on the side of the building owner. They call it an enabling act. Although the number of hoops you have to jump through, I get quite upset about it. But listen, I'm only here to deliver the message. Don't shoot the messenger, as they say. So unfortunately, it seems to be my job to deliver the bad news. So that's the answer to the question, if my neighbor doesn't respond, can I start works? So it's been a while, and I hope you found that little run through really interesting. We will be putting, after the holidays, more stuff on YouTube. This is going to be our go-to platform, all the stuff we're going to put on it. And if we get it right, you'll be able to download the templates from the description. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out. Please feel free to share this video. And we do it to raise awareness and so that people don't get caught out. So thank you for your time. Got someone at the door, I've got to go and answer it now. How do I